My name is David. For 20 years, my life, my entire identity, has been Ascent, the most respected travel magazine in the world. I'm not just an employee, I'm the head of photojournalism. I came here as a young photographer with a bag of film and a lot of ambition. The founder, Mr. Harrison Cole, found me in the darkroom, agonizing over a print. He didn't criticize. He just looked at the photo and said, "You didn't just capture the place, son. You captured the feeling. That's the difference." He taught me everything. He was my mentor, my second father. "We don't sell magazines, David," he'd say. "Anyone can sell pretty pictures. We sell inspiration. We sell a promise that the world is still vast and full of wonder." But 6 months ago, that world collapsed. Mr. Cole gathered the senior staff. He looked frail. The man who had crossed the Sahara on foot looked like a whisper of himself. He announced he was retiring, effective immediately, to fight a serious, private illness. His son-in-law, Marcus, would be taking control. Marcus. He was everything Mr. Cole was not. Cold, digital, ruthless. Marcus didn't read magazines, he read data analytics. He saw our legendary photo archive not as art, but as an undermonetized digital asset. The first few weeks were a nightmare. He fired our entire fact-checking department, calling them an analog redundancy. He wanted to replace our photo essays with user-generated content to cut costs. I was his main obstacle. I was the bold guard. I was the living embodiment of Mr. Cole's promise, and Marcus hated me for it. The betrayal happened on a Thursday. It started with a manufactured crisis. Marcus stormed into my office. "David, I have a problem. Our freelancer in Patagonia. The one you hired. His payment just bounced. We need to pay him, now." He threw an invoice on my light table. "This is a new freelance payment portal, Global Creative Solutions. It's faster. I just need your senior authorization. Sign it. Now." He was rushing. I was on a deadline for the next issue. I didn't question it. It was $25,000. A standard fee for a high-risk assignment. I signed the form. "Good thing you caught this, Marcus," I said. "Just cleaning up other people's messes," he replied, snatching the paper. 2 days later, his assistant called. "Marcus needs you in the main boardroom. Immediately." I walked in. The room was cold. Marcus was there. So was the new head of legal he'd hired. "David," Marcus said, not looking up from his tablet. "We have a problem. A serious discrepancy." He pushed the invoice across the table. My signature, clear as day. "We've run a check on Global Creative Solutions," Marcus said, a thin, cruel smile on his face. "It doesn't exist. It's a shell company." I was confused. "What?" "But you said." "And the $25,000, he continued, "has been traced to an offshore account. An account that just so happens to be linked to your tax ID." My blood ran cold. My stomach dropped. That's impossible. That's a lie. You gave me that invoice." "Did I? Or did you, the man with full control over the freelance budget, create a fake portal and try to embezzle $25,000, thinking no one would notice?" He stood up. "This is a profound disappointment. Stealing from the company, from my sick father-in-law. You're finished, David. You're fired for fraud. Security will see you out." I was stunned. I couldn't speak. The lawyer just stared at me blankly. It was a setup. A perfect, brutal trap. 2 security guards, men I'd had drinks with, walked in. "Mr. Clark, please." They couldn't meet my eyes. I was escorted out of the building I had given my life to, walked past my team, who stared in shocked silence. My mentor was sick. His son-in-law was a thief. And I was the scapegoat. Marcus caught me at the elevator. He tossed a thick, formal envelope at my feet. It hit the marble floor with a dull slap. "Your official termination letter," he sneered. "And a restraining order. Don't even think about coming back. Clean out your desk. You have 5 minutes." I sat in my car in the parking garage for an hour, just numb. My career. My life. My reputation. All of it, gone, destroyed by a man who saw inspiration as a number. Finally, I picked up the envelope. I tore it open. Inside was the cold, legal letter, accusing me of gross embezzlement and criminal malfeasance. "Clean out your desk. You are fired." I pulled out the letter. And underneath it, something else. Something that shouldn't have been there. A small, folded piece of paper. It wasn't office paper. It was Mr. Cole's personal, thick, cream-colored note card. The kind he used to send with assignment details. The kind I hadn't seen in 6 months. My hands were shaking. I unfolded it. The handwriting was unmistakable. Not the shaky script of a sick man, but the strong, clear, confident hand I knew so well. It said, "Play along. He's arrogant, not smart. Be at the investors' meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. I knew he would do this. HC. My heart hammered against my ribs. He knew. He knew Marcus would frame me. The sickness, was it all a lie? The next morning, I put on my best suit. I felt like a ghost walking into the building. I walked right past the new receptionist and straight to the executive boardroom. The room was packed. Serious investors. The entire board. Marcus was at the front, a huge projector screen behind him, filled with charts about liquidating assets. When he saw me, his face went from polished charisma to pure, purple rage. "What in the hell are you doing here?" he shouted. "I fired you. You're trespassing. Security. Get this thief out of my meeting." "He is not a thief, Marcus. But you are." The voice boomed from the back of the room. And there he was. Mr. Harrison Cole. He wasn't sick. He wasn't frail. He was standing tall, in his favorite safari jacket, his eyes like steel. The entire room gasped. Marcus looked like he'd seen a ghost. "Arthur. But, your illness. Your treatments." "My illness," Mr. Cole said, walking slowly to the head of the table, "was a lie. A performance. A test. I needed to see what you would do, my son-in-law, if you thought I was gone. I needed to see if you had the soul of an explorer, or the greed of a vulture." He turned to the investors. "My son-in-law is currently presenting you with a plan to optimize our brand. It involves selling off our 70-year archive of photography to a stock photo conglomerate, correct?" The investors nodded, confused. "What he didn't tell you," Mr. Cole continued, "is why he so desperately needed David out of the way. He didn't tell you about this." He threw an invoice on the projector. It was the one I'd signed. "This," Mr. Cole said, "is the invoice Marcus used to frame David. He claimed it was a shell company. He was right. It is. Arthur, this proves." Marcus began. "It proves your fraud, Marcus." Mr. Cole roared. "You were so arrogant, so eager to frame an innocent man, that you used the wrong invoice. You see, this payment wasn't to Global Creative Solutions. That was the fake charge you told legal about. This is the real invoice. The one I've been looking for." He tapped the screen. The supplier name was Apex Digital Holdings. "And who are they?" an investor asked. They are the very stock photo conglomerate he's been trying to sell our archive to. Mr. Cole said. This wasn't a freelance payment. This was a consulting fee, a kickback. He was selling our company's soul, and he framed the one man who would have known the value of what he was stealing. The invoice was real. Marcus had given me the one piece of proof of his plan to destroy the legacy. He had framed me, to cover his own treason. You can't prove that. Marcus yelled, panicked. Oh, yes I can, Mr. Cole said. Because my team has been monitoring your IP. The payment was approved from your terminal, Marcus, an hour before you ever gave it to David. He turned to the board. Marcus is removed from the board and from this company, effective immediately. He's fired. Marcus, pale and shaking, stormed out of the room, defeated. The investors were in an uproar. Mr. Cole raised his hand. Calm down. The company is secure. The legacy is safe. He looked at me. I was still standing by the door, in shock. Mr. Cole, I said, my voice shaky. I don't understand. Why me? Why all this? He walked over and put his hand on my shoulder. Because I knew Marcus would see loyalty as a threat. He would try to get rid of the only person left who actually understood the value of this place, not just the price. It was a test, David. A test of loyalty for you, and a test of character for him. You passed. He failed. Miserably. He smiled, a true, warm smile. The company needs a new editor-in-chief. Someone who understands the feeling, not just the pictures. Someone who understands the promise. He motioned to the empty chair at the head of the table. The job is yours, David, if you want it.